us today for the launch of our new series, Travel Like a Pro. Today, we're going to be hosting these free, incredible interviews with the professionals in the industry who will be sharing with you tips, tricks, and travel hacks to make your flying and travel a better experience. We're gifting you this knowledge and insight to help empower you so that you can travel with safety, comfort, and ease. Right now, I also want you to go to captainlaura.com/checklist, and you can download your free must-knows before your next trips. And let us know if you would love to access and download a detailed series created by us that teaches you how to save money, keep healthy, be best prepared, ease your fears, and travel like a pro. We're going to be answering questions today at the end of the broadcast. So please make sure you put them in the comments section, and we will address that afterwards because we want you to be engaged with us, just like being on board. So those of you that don't know me, I'll give you a little bit of history. I'm currently a captain for a major U.S. airline. I'm qualified on the Boeing 767, 757, 737, and Airbus A320. Prior to that, I was a captain on a civilian P3, which is a Lockheed L-188, and also a Convair 580. I did military contract flying, international, and cargo and charters, you name it, we flew it. I did some aerobatics and flew a Kristen Eagle Pitts S2B, was an air show director for an air show performer. I was also a flight instructor and taught all different levels of flying. I have a Bachelor of Science degree from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University and a minor in dispatch, and I was accepted to the Air Force Academy as well. As a teen, I started flying. I took my first flying lessons at 15 years old, soloed an airplane on my 16th birthday, and I was working 3 jobs to pay for my flying lessons. And I got my private pilot license at 17. And you know the rest of the history there. So I'm also a mother of 2 amazing children. I'm a wife to an aeronautical engineer and military man, an author of 2 books. One is Remove Before Flight, which helps empower you as the travelers. It's like guidebook for air travel. And also Lost and Found, that we hope to make out of a movie and series. And I do guest speaking, and also I'm a media spokesperson. So I'm so glad that you're here with us today, because today we're discussing COVID and air travel. So I know many people are on the fence about, should I plan to book a ticket or not during this holiday season? I'm not really sure if it's safe, and we're not here to pressure you one way or the other at all. We want to share information with you and some of the facts and data from recent testing that just came out, and also protocols that the airlines have put in place and things that we all can do to best protect ourselves. And then you can make those decisions. So today we have with us Captain Joe Rajacic. Hi, Joe.
Hey, how are you, Laura?
I'm good. So glad to see you.
Hey, I feel thrilled that you asked me to be on this broadcast.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, because it's such an important topic. Do you mind if I share with everyone some of your history? Because you have a really huge resume. So Captain Joe is a retired 747 captain from United Airlines. And he also flew the DC-10, the 727, the 737, Learjets, Citation jets, and J3 Cubs, and all that kind of fun stuff. Joe was distinguished as one of the top 100 employees for United for his work on the 747 that Boeing made. We love that airplane and miss it so much. Yes, Joe was a subject matter expert, and he also served as an instructor at the United Pilot Training Center. Joe's a member of the American Society of Aerospace Pilots, whereas his instructional expertise includes space flight studies, orbital mechanics, space navigation, and space shuttle systems. So later on, we're going to do another interview about all that really cool stuff too. Joe holds a Bachelor of Science degree in aviation management with honors. He's also a certified flight instructor, flight engineer, aircraft simulator instructor, and an airframe and power plant mechanic, which makes me super jealous because I always wanted to get my AMP. And he was also a NASA Special Projects simulator research pilot on projects such as the Boeing Supersonic Transport prototype and future flight navigation programs. And so currently, Joe's living in Reno, Nevada, with his awesome family. Hi, Joe and Carrie. And Joe and I, we just are geeks together about airplanes and science and all that. And so we met through Alex. Joe is a co-founder of a nonprofit that helps to teach kids about STEM education and futures in aviation. And now Joe's working with Pathways to Aviation, which also helps to create the STEM education and future of aviation for kiddos and all that great stuff. And that's how we also met, doing those things. And Joe's currently an aviation consultant for those people in business who are looking for what would be the perfect jet to buy for themselves for their business. So Joe, we're so glad to have you with us, and welcome.
Thank you very much. This is a thrill. You and I are just the perfect aviation geeks, and
we are.
we just do everything together, everything aviation. And I remember it well, and I was thrilled when you asked me about this particular subject, because it's the COVID is nothing to sneeze at, I guess you could say. It's very serious, and a lot of people are thinking that, what are the airlines doing? What are they going to be able to keep the airplane clean? Am I going to be safe? And when you shared with me some information about the tests that were done, it was pretty amazing. I was really taken back, because obviously the airlines had to cut back a lot because less people are traveling, but I couldn't imagine how much they've put into this test. They got together with so many different groups and put together this amazing test. I think Transcom is the one who set it up, but they've got people from United Airlines, from the military, from the Air Force, the aerosol test team. They treated this like a military mission. I was very impressed, the length and the depth that they went through. And you can see on some of these slides, they took two large airplanes, a 777 and a 767, typical of what you'd fly in a long cross-country or international flight. And they put mannequins into these airplanes, and the mannequins simulated a person who may have COVID. Obviously, they didn't use the COVID. They used another aerosol, but they had testers and apparatus and equipment set up all through the airplane. And what they did is they had this mannequin breathe out and cough and do all kinds of tests, and they would see how far these particles would travel. And it was pretty impressive to see the depth that they went through.
Very.
I've got some numbers here that are it's just amazing. They did 300 tests, and they performed, they released over 180 million tracer particles. That's what they're calling these. They simulate the COVID particles that a person would cough or breathe out. And they did 11,500 breathing zone seat measurements. I mean, this took so much manpower and time to do, but I think it was all worth it, because when you read the results, it's almost as if the COVID doesn't exist in an airplane.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about all of those things, like specifically because I think all of us are pretty shocked about how low the risk factor numbers are, but we'll get to the results. Yes. I know that the test had started, the military and DARPA actually initiated this because they were concerned about transporting their troops. So commercially, how safe are our troops traveling to and from bases in different countries? So they collaborated with Boeing, United, like you said, ZTO Tech, S3I, the Mobility Command, National Strategic Institute, And all these people, and they say, I guess it's 36 experts, 8 days of testing, on the ground, off the ground, all different configurations, and assumed 100% full jet when they did this, right? So,
yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I mean, to speak to also on so they actually named the mannequin Ruth. I don't know if you saw that. So anyways, we apologize for any of the viewers and friends and family and loved ones named Ruth. But so Ruth, the contagious mannequin. So they used the aerosol that was actually more contagious than COVID. The way what they used specifically to simulate the exact virus. And they used the information from hospitals, specifically how much, how far, how everything, if somebody coughs, or all of those different, ways that it could be contagious. And like we said, the sensors are everywhere. You could see them on the armrests there, on the entertainment systems, on the seats themselves, in front and back, on sides. And they also use, the laser beams. So they have these, I actually have several friends that they were test pilots on these tests. And I got to see kind of what the box looks like, the boxes for the lasers to see, and they measured, these particles and everywhere that they went. So, and the assumption is, of course, all passengers have masks. So can you tell us what the results were, Joe? Because I think it was just pretty amazing.
I know. I read through the results, and it was really just amazing. One of the general results was that the lowest case of COVID is in the flight attendants, and they're exposed to this, every day in their workday, and yet they don't have it. And I don't think a lot of people understand how the aircraft are designed so that the airflow flows from the ceiling down and then out, and it's recirculated about every 2 to 3 minutes. So the test showed that the air inside a typical airliner is cleaner than what you would find at your supermarket or any other closed-in area,
or even hospitals.
Even hospitals, yes. And so, I think, right, Laura, wasn't it like 99.99% of the COVID could not travel? It was like 0.001 or 0.1%.
Yeah,
chance.
It was 0.003% on average across the entire airplane in every area, 0.003%. Yeah. And that included just even the tests right next to the mannequin, in front of the mannequin. It was shocking that it was that low. And that was with the mannequin wearing, also the mask. And I think that the worst number was 0.02%. So that is really amazing. And for those of you that are science nerds like Joe and I actually have on CaptainLaura.com the full report, 53 pages. So if you want to geek out like us, you can. So, but it was just really so amazing how, with all and that includes all the protocols too. So can you tell us about those protocols that the airlines have implemented to keep us really safe and healthy?
Well, besides requiring the masks now, they have what typically we know of as a HEPA filter installed in the airplane, which filters out almost every one of the particulates. Like you mentioned, Laura, it's like 0.003%. It's so small, it's smaller than in your house. And then they in the cockpits they use the UV wands to clean the cockpit areas, because there's so many switches and little dials and things that the pilots have to touch. It would take forever to clean every little piece in there. So they go over it with the UV wand, and then
and they do the whole cabin with that too.
And that too, plus the mister, where they spray over after they've cleaned everything, they go over it with the spray to once again get the hard to reach places where they may have missed. It's just amazing what the airlines are doing, and I commend them so much because they're really on top of this. This is something that's going to make people feel a lot better and go back to flying.
Well, I think, the premise of flying in general is safety first. And so definitely when it comes to COVID, this is, front line right now for safety first. So, being those with those different numbers and stuff, to speak a little bit more in detail to, again, those HEPA filters are they're hospital grade now. So everything's been upgraded with these HEPA filters, and it's 99.97%. where they clear out all of the particles, viruses, bacteria, etc., and they're changed often. And you can see how, nothing can get through that anyways. And then with the airflow, it's like you said, Joe, it's exchanged 2 to 3 times. And, if you open those, people think, okay, keep the airflow closed. I want to just speak to that 50% of the air is actually fresh air from outside. The airplanes have these scoops underneath them, and they bring in 50% fresh air constantly. And the other 50% is the recycled, but it goes through these HEPA filters. And the way the airflow goes, you can see you want to open those eyeball vents and have the airflow just in front of you, because it flows this way and down. People tend to think it's just the same recirculated air and it goes front to back, but that's not the case at all. And especially that's what this testing just showed. So, so that's every 20 to 30 times an hour, everything's completely 100% changed out, like fresh and new as you're flying along. And those ultraviolet ones are just, they're amazing, and they literally kill the virus within seconds on contact by damaging the nucleic acid of the organism. So that's how they actually work. They break down the genetic material of the virus itself. So, and then the misters, it's the same kind of thing that they use in hospitals for MRSA and, all different types of viruses. So it kills it. It's a certain type of disinfectant that they spray everywhere and then air it out. And then, of course, you mentioned the wipes. So that's bleach wipes. And so that's probably some good job security nowadays with, the cleaning people are so essential, especially right now, to just, they're wiping every single inch of the airplane down, and the jetways too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So there, another thing.
Terminals. I haven't flown in a while, but I think they're also doing the terminals. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's some other protocols that they've implemented is spacing. So again, the social distancing, boarding and, boarding on the jetway in smaller numbers, separated out, things like that. So, yeah. Yeah.
I was also impressed on that testing. They did it with the cockpit door open to the terminal jetway. They even tested it if somebody was in the terminal or in the jetway with some kind of a disease or COVID. They tested how much would go into the airplane, and still it's less than, like you said, 0.003%.
Right. Yeah. As long as we wear our masks and, and then we can speak to, is there anything else you wanted to add about the testing or the protocols?
I think that's all I can remember, Laura.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's like you said, it's been really, the science has been so important to, help protect everyone. And so we also, have the responsibility to protect ourselves, protect our loved ones and others. And so we're really just fascinated to have these tests done and get these type of results. And you can see it shows in every seat, practically in every section, what the measurements were based on a contagious person or a mannequin in this case that would be coughing more, an aerosol that's even more contagious than COVID even. So, so that was really, really good information. So can you tell us about what things, people can do to best protect themselves and others?
Well, obviously it's the mask. And like my wife will tell you, when you get home, wash your mask out and, take a new one or a fresh one the next day. But you can wear gloves. I think one of the things people don't remember about on your way to the airport, if you're going to get gas for your car,
yes,
and you pick up that gas pump, I always have the throwaway gloves in the car and put them on, and I'm not going to touch that nozzle because you know who else has touched it, and then throw the gloves away before you touch your door handle and get back in your car.
Yeah, or rub your eye, nose, or anything.
Yeah, obviously washing your hands. All the certain things you hear on TV. I guess it's the gloves and the mask that are important. Of course, if you bring your own wipes, that's good. Or the hand cleansers.
Right. Antibacterial wipes and gels, and to be really, really cognizant of the things that you're touching. You know, escalators, elevators, you know, just getting into a vehicle, like you said, you know, where you're sitting, the hand rests and things like that. So especially this wintertime too, with gloves, I know that's been a little bit of a controversial thing because people have said, oh, don't wear gloves. But to me, I think too, when you do, it just reminds you about what you're touching, and then not to, you know, touch your orifices, the 5 that we have.
Yeah.
So,
well,
but then,
you know, you could bring a whole package of them with you, and just toss them when you forget and you touch an armrest, or you forget and you push the elevator button with your hand.
Yeah, I'm learning to do the elbow and the wrist. The knuckles. Yeah. So I mean,
even when you go in and out of doors, you know, at the not the automatic door at the airport, but any other door, like supermarkets or anywhere, you just, you know, use your shoulder, use your arm, use your jacket, whatever you're wearing, instead of your hands. Try to keep your hands from touching things.
Yeah, and then another thing too, like if you want to be super, super safe too, even, you know, they have, you can wear like, you know, fashionable goggles, or, you know, something like that, or those shields that people wear too, because, you know, your eyes are, you know, also, and like I said, an orifice anyway too. It keeps you from, you know, rubbing your own stuff. But, you know, to just be aware of everything you touch too. And like I said, open the eyeball vents, you know, the little air vents that are above you, if you decide to fly, because that actually helps the air circulate around, which keeps those really low numbers. So that helps a lot too. Don't travel if you're sick, of course, you know, no matter what it is. Anyway, because, you know, even with the colds and flu, you know, you have that sinus pressure, right?
Yes.
So you don't want to blow out eardrums or sinuses or anything, or just, you know, again, get anybody else sick with that. But I also talk always about boosting your immune system. So, you know, things like airborne, Zicam,
vitamin C. Yes.
Vitamin C. Yeah.
Exactly.
Get plenty of sleep, try to reduce your stress, get to the airport with plenty of time in advance, you know, and then you can eat something, have a Starbucks, you know, whatever. So listen to some good tunes, you know.
Just remember what you touch at the Starbucks.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So that's, and, you know, and then also to the pilots and the mechanics and even flight attendants, hey, you know, tell the pilots, make sure that as everybody is boarding, to make sure that the ground air is on, and that the APU, either the ground air or the APU, auxiliary power unit, is on, to keep that airflow going around the airplane, to get anything that might be in remote, you know, somewhere, goes down by your feet and through the HEPA filters, and done, gone.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there was another statistic that I remembered before all the COVID really got going. There was a test done, and that was before people were required to use masks. And I think the number was out of 1.2, was it built 1.2 billion passengers, only 44 got affected. Wow. And that was before masks.
Wow.
So you got to contribute that to the airflow in the airplane.
Right. And that was what it sounds like before the protocols too, right? Yeah, so now with everything.
Before the cleaning.
Right.
So now, like you said, it's 0.003. It's almost non-existent.
Yeah, which is, I'm still shocked. It's like, okay, any of you guys, so just let me know if you did the testing on me. I'll have to call up everybody else too. But anyway, I just
Right.
really wanted us to be able to speak to this because, I think it's been tough, I mean, I have, you have some, it's like all of us, some friends and family are just super nervous and afraid about it. And, some people are super carefree about it. And there's a happy medium in the middle there about still live your life, but just have precautions.
Sure.
And then now, it just helps to make the decisions. We hope that was the intention of today, just to share this information with you so that you can make your decisions as we go forward through this winter and next spring and summer as you're making decisions about different things like that. So, yeah.
Right.
Anything else that you want to add, Joe?
Be prepared.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's why I wrote a book about that. It's a lot. Be prepared, and we want to help you feel at ease, like I said, and comfortable and safe when you do air travel. And
I would hope that people would clean their cars as much as the airplane is being cleaned.
Well, or anywhere we go. So,
Anyway.
But I mean, it's been really interesting to see how things have I'll say evolved, because hopefully as we're going forward through this and learning a lot, and we move on with the move forward in our decisions as we're going along. So anyway, it's
I guess one thing too is to remember that the masks are there to help you and the fellow passengers. So I'm just going to put this out there, don't get mad at the flight attendants because you have to wear a mask. And you read about these people that are, having a hard time on the flight, and they pull off their masks. It's not helping anything. And just, you're going to have to get through this. We all have to live through it. And as you can see, it's much safer with the mask on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really, really disturbing to see, especially when there's, fist fights not hardly ever often at all, but just being respectful of each other. And it's, you're right. It's the policy, and it's going to be that way for a while. So that's just part of what we need to do right now. So,
exactly. Yeah.
Right. So thanks, Joe. Is there any, so if we want to contact you because we have questions, is there a good way to do that?
Well, you and I have a website, which I don't know if you brought up before.
Oh yeah, why don't you just tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Laura and I are trying to get together a way of helping young people, teenagers, young adults, school-age kids to get interested in aviation. And one of the ways we plan on doing that is to get in our jet and fly around the country.
But we don't own a jet, so clarify that. Yeah. Get in somebody's jet.
All the different aviation type careers there are, and bring some kids in and ask questions about jobs and what it's like to work in this place. And we've got some good ideas, and we're working on it. So it's adventuresinaviation.tv.
Yeah, so you can see a little bit about that. And then also you can go to captainlaura.com and contact us there. And so if you have specific questions for Joe or myself, and you can reach us that way too. So we want to thank you, Captain Joe, for joining us today and sharing all your knowledge. So and anybody, to please get on, the captainlaura.com // checklist to download some of your must knows and a few of the things that we talked about today. And let us know if this is something that you feel is valuable to you. We're taking our time to share, and we want to know if this is something as we go forward that is very helpful and you would like to see more of for Travel Like a Pro. So thank you so much, Captain Joe. And thank you, everybody. If you have questions, you can put in the comments right there too. And so we're always wishing you blue skies and smooth rides. Bye.
Bye.